Riggs and Murtaugh, Tango and Cash, Starsky and Hutch, John McClane, Frank Bullitt, Dirty Harry Callahan.
Now you have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do ya, punks?
While those are tough movie cops, none of them are as hard as nails as perhaps the toughest, most dangerous movie cop of all time.
I'm Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad. And don't ever let me catch you guys in America!
So unnecessary.
Jump back to 1980. Leslie Nielsen was a character actor best known for playing deadpan, ultra-serious roles. He was typically the bad guy of the week on TV shows and TV movies, and his biggest claim to fame at the time was playing the captain in 1956's Forbidden Planet. People used to make fun of him for being so stiff and humorless. His career was pretty middling at the time, but David Zucker, James Abrams, and Jerry Zucker, aka Zaz, Zucker Abrams Zucker, wanted to cast him in their movie Airplane. He would play the third lead, a deadpan doctor that would perfectly ape similar roles he played in movies like The Poseidon Adventure. While the studio initially balked, saying that Nielsen's the kind of guy you cast the night before shooting starts rather than actually want, the directors had their way, and to everyone's surprise, the movie was a mammoth blockbuster. What's more, every critic singled out Nielsen's hilariously deadpan performance, and suddenly, Leslie Nielsen was a bona fide comedy star.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Yet, Airplane didn't really make him a top draw at the box office, although it certainly elevated his status in Hollywood. He stayed pretty loyal to his Airplane directors, skipping the sequel when he heard they weren't coming back. Turned out to be a pretty good move. They actually had plans for him at the time, with them developing a TV show called Police Squad. It was designed as a takeoff on the popular cop shows the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and in it he would play a none-too-bright cop named Frank Drebin, who would narrate the show in Nielsen's classic deadpan style.
There'd been a recent wave of gorgeous fashion models found naked and unconscious in laundromats on the West Side. Unfortunately, I was assigned to investigate holdups of neighborhood credit unions.
Despite some rave reviews, Police Squad was canceled after 6 episodes.
Hey, wait a minute. What happened? What happens next? Come on, let's see the next episode.
That's it.
What?
The show was canceled after that.
And Nielsen went back to the kinds of roles he played in the 70s, playing a college dean in the, well, let's say problematic Soul Man, a rapist in the Barbra Streisand movie Nuts, and other undistinguished parts, although he was pretty great in Creepshow opposite Ted Danson.
No, that's a trick. You son of a bitch! That's some kind of special effects trick in there.
You just take a look at the VCR back there. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't turn your head.
Yet, Team Zaz still felt that their character, Frank Drebin, had a lot of potential. They convinced Paramount Pictures to finance a big-screen version of the show called The Naked Gun from the files of Police Squad. They couldn't just use the name Police Squad because at the time the Police Academy series was riding high, and they didn't want to confuse people.
Frank, they're not here for you. Weird Al Yankovic is on the plane.
Nielsen would return as Drebin, opposite a unique cast that included George Kennedy, a legendary character actor, as Drebin's boss.
He's alive, Frank, though he's on life support. Doctors say he's got a 50-50 chance of living, though there's only a 10% chance of that.
And the somewhat, let's use that phrase problematic again, O.J. Simpson as his beloved partner Nordberg.
Hey, nurse, quick, give this man some drugs. Quick, can't you see he's in pain?
No.
Give him a shot, quickly.
No. Heroin, Frank.
Nordberg, that's a pretty tall order. You're gonna have to give me a couple of days on that one.
Well, Simpson wasn't problematic in 1988, but as Nielsen himself later said, he became known for something other than comedy as the years went by. Perhaps the most unconventional piece of casting was Priscilla Presley, who, of course, was known mostly then for being the late Elvis Presley's ex-wife. Presley's acting career had gotten off to a quiet start via some TV roles, but the gorgeous actress proved to be shockingly adept at comedy.
Nice beaver.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
Let me help you with that.
Most importantly, her chemistry with the bumbling Nielsen was pitch perfect, with her always citing him as a dream co-star.
I'm boiling a roast. How hot and wet do you like it?
Very hot and awfully wet.
While the TV series mostly mocked other cop shows, The Naked Gun, with its bigger budget, served as more of a spoof of the Dirty Harry series, with several scenes directly riffing on classic moments from the first film.
Callahan, I don't want any more trouble like you had last year in the Fillmore district. Understand? That's my policy.
Yeah, well, when an adult male is chasing a female with intent to commit rape, I shoot the bastard. That's my policy.
Oh, Drebin, I don't want any more trouble like you had last year on the South Side. Understand? That's my policy.
Yes, well, when I see 5 weirdos dressed in togas stabbing a guy in the middle of the park in full view of 100 people, I shoot the bastards. That's my policy.
That was a Shakespeare in the Park production of Julius Caesar, you moron.
In the movie, Drebin, after single-handedly demolishing a room full of America's greatest adversaries in the opening, including Idi Amin and a mohawk-wearing Ayatollah, has to prove that his partner Nordberg, played by Simpson, is innocent of a trumped-up drug charge. Making matters worse, Nordberg is on his deathbed after an ambush, something not helped by the fact that Drebin accidentally keeps injuring him further every time he goes to visit him. Eventually, the path leads to a drug-running businessman named Vincent Ludwig, played by Khan himself, Ricardo Montalban, who sicks his sexy secretary on Drebin to distract him, only for her to be powerless against Drebin's seductive charms. The movie's premise, which centers around Ludwig's plot to assassinate the Queen using sleeper assassins, is actually lifted from an old Charles Bronson movie called Telephone. The movie itself is a complete blast with surprisingly tight action that's expertly mixed with non-stop hilarity. It's probably one of the funniest films ever made, to be honest.
There's something on the side of your mouth, Al. No, the other side.
With even throwaway gags including Drebin and Jane walking out of Oliver Stone's platoon in hysterics being top shelf. Nielsen himself is superb as the none too bright but heroic Drebin. If ever Nielsen was cast to perfection, this was the part, with him loving the role so much that he had Ira Newborn's theme song for the series play at his funeral.
He was safe. He never tagged him with the ball. You idiot. He was out when he ran the baseline. All right, I've had enough. You're out of here.
What do you mean? You can't go enough far out of the game.
Yeah. All right. You're out of here.
Presley is shockingly funny as Drebin's love interest, with the romance pretty convincing, and Kennedy is a riot, sending up his iconic airport character roles as Drebin's boss and best pal. Even O.J. Simpson is really funny as Nordberg, although watching him dressed in black stalking around heavily armed in the opening sequences has a bit of a different context now than it did way back in 1988.
Nordberg, me, Frank, your buddy.
The film was a smash hit at the box office, grossing $78 million domestically, which was pretty hefty for the era, and about the same amount overseas. Considering the movie only cost about $12 million, it was a huge blockbuster, and that's not even counting video and cable. It spawned a very profitable franchise for the studio and made Nielsen a bankable comedy star, although for my money, no one ever used him quite as well as Zucker Abrams and Zucker. So that's it for The Naked Gun. If you like this video, let us know in the comments, and hey, maybe we'll cover the rest of the series.
Nordberg, that's wonderful. Whoa!
Oh, Frank, everyone should have a friend like you.
The joke that makes The Naked Gun 2.5 The Smell of Fear really great is relatively subtle. In fact, as a child, watching this movie over and over again, it went right over my head. Only recently, after releasing the episode Revisited dedicated to the original Naked Gun and discussing the sequels with a friend, I was clued in on why the sequel is actually so funny. You see, my friend told me that the whole point of the movie is that the bad guys, which are a conglomerate of nuclear, coal, and oil industry villains, want to prevent Richard Griffith's Dr. Meinheimer from presenting a speech to the president urging a change to the country's oil policy. The whole movie is about preventing this speech. Meinheimer is kidnapped and replaced by a double to stop it from happening. Our hero, Leslie Nielsen's Frank Drebin, has to save Meinheimer so he can present his speech, which he eventually does. But the best joke is the fact that when Meinheimer gives his speech, he's so boring and it's so dull that everyone listening to it, including the president, falls asleep and never actually hears it, making the whole plot totally meaningless. And that, my friends, is why The Naked Gun 2.5 The Smell of Fear is a gem.
You'll never get away with this, Hasberg. Whatever it is.
Granted, nothing comes close to the original, but it's well worth a revisit and actually holds up pretty well. The first movie was one of the biggest box office hits of 1988. making a follow-up obviously a no-brainer. While Zucker passed on making Airplane 2, they had no such qualms about bringing back Frank Drebin for another installment. However, Jerry Zucker's involvement would be limited, as he had become one of the hottest non-comedy directors in town. The previous year's Ghost was a blockbuster, so he was on board, but as an executive producer only. The same went for Jim Abrams, who did 2 milder-than-usual comedies, Big Business and Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael, before making another comedy blockbuster of his own for the summer of 1991, Hot Shots, which came out just a month after this, and both movies were hits. David Zucker was the one that was left to direct this, with Pat Proft, his co-writer from the first film, helping him with the screenplay. While more scattershot than the first movie, it's still quite funny, even if it's arguably more dated than the first in its reliance on George Bush humor, with John Rourke nailing the impression. At the time, the energy debate was in full swing, with words like ozone layer making their way into the headlines, while ecological disasters such as the Exxon Valdez oil spill, which wound up being satirized in the film, were everywhere. Pretty much the whole cast returned for this, with O.J. Simpson's Nordberg getting an expanded role after his comic performance won raves in the first film. Again, Leslie Nielsen is in top form, playing a role that fits him perfectly. Around this time, Nielsen was fully embracing his new comedy stardom, showing up on talk shows in full Drebin mode, with his handy fart box never too far from his reach. I remember Nielsen popping up on pretty much all the big talk shows of the time, especially Donahue, to whom he sports an uncanny resemblance. Nielsen was so in love with the role that in some ways he played the part in all of his personal appearances until the day he died. Indeed, they even played Ira Newborn's theme from The Naked Gun at his funeral as he was laid to rest. It's kind of beautiful, because I don't know that any actor has ever had more fun in a role than Nielsen had in these movies. This one sees Frank Drebin in Washington receiving a prestigious award from the president for Most Drug Dealers Killed. Inexplicably, his whole police squad unit is with him, and when someone tries to blow up a renewable energy depot, Drebin and his gang are called in to investigate. Of course, Priscilla Presley's Jane, who left Frank sometime after the first film, now lives and works in Washington, and works at the depot and is dating a smoothie named Quentin Habsburg, played by the famed Robert Goulet, several years before Will Ferrell memorably satirized him on Saturday Night Live. Frank, of course, is convinced that Habsburg is behind the whole scheme, and of course Frank, despite his incredible stupidity, is right. As in other movies, the admittedly thin plot is just an excuse for hijinks, most of which are pretty funny, including a great sequence set at the Blue Note Jazz Bar for the depressed. Priscilla Presley is once again the perfect foil for Nielsen, and looks dynamite as a redhead, and their chemistry is spot on. Both George Kennedy and O.J. Simpson get more to do in this one, and they get in on the action with Drebin as he tries to foil the evil Big Energy Syndicate. The funniest bits in the movie include a likely homage to the pottery scene in Ghost, which of course was made by one of the directors of the first film, Jerry. It features what will become one of my favorite running gags in the series, where anytime Drebin's body is shown in close-up, it's that of a hulking Schwarzenegger-style bodybuilder, a reference to a then-ongoing scandal where Hollywood actors were using body doubles. It climaxes, pun intended, with the greatest ever montage of phallic sequences ever put to film. I also love the faux ads for oil, coal, and nuclear power, with the two-tailed dog in the nuclear one always making me crack up. And while he's no Ricardo Montalban, who is, Robert Goulet seems to enjoy setting up his image as the movie's villain, making perhaps the first time a bad guy was ever named after the infamously inbred Austrian royal family. Richard Griffiths is also really funny in this, with his dual role as Dr. Meinheimer and his double, Texan named Earl Hacker, and once again Weird Al Yankovic turns up in a cameo. The movie was a smash hit at the box office, with it outgrossing the first film and notably knocking Robin Hood Prince of Thieves from the top spot at the box office. It was the 10th biggest hit of the year and helped cement Leslie Nielsen's fame as the world's funniest senior citizen. It's not too hard to imagine that the series might have continued beyond the very successful third film had, co-star O.J. Simpson not become better known for, well, let's just say things other than comedy. But alas, that's a story for another time.
Oh my God, look! It's disgruntled poster
When the great Leslie Nielsen was making the media rounds in 1996, promoting his James Bond spoof Spy Hard, everyone wanted to know one thing. Was he shocked when O.J. Simpson was arrested for murdering his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Ron Goldman? And did he think he was guilty? Ever the Canadian gent, Nielsen retired the ever-present fart machine he enjoyed using in interviews and tried to give a thoughtful answer.
Well, it has concerned me a little bit.
Basically, that the O.J. he knew on the set from the 3 Naked Gun movies they did together never gave him an inkling that he would be capable of murder, although to read between the lines of his answer, it was clear that Nielsen likely had some serious doubts as to his innocence. Who could blame him?
Well, the man I had worked with in Naked Gun was charming and witty, and there was nothing ever that would indicate in any way that he could possibly be the person who would do that kind of thing. So, so here he is all of a sudden accused of it and on trial. And it just, I suppose anybody can snap, but I never saw that person.
Indeed, when The Naked Gun 33 1/3, The Final Insult, came out on March 18, 1994, no one who went to see it, and I am one of them, would have ever thought that 3 months later, O.J. Simpson would be arrested for murder and forever afterward would be known for something other than comedy, to put it mildly.
You know what, Bert? Put it together. Frank, I want you to know we're here for you.
While there were far greater things at stake than the success of a film franchise, namely the lives of 2 innocent people and the collateral and damage inflicted by the case, which seemed to become a worldwide firestorm, it can't be denied that his arrest was the final nail in the coffin of a film series that likely would have continued for several years to come under normal circumstances.
Come here, sexy.
You're all women, I could tell just by looking at you.
Hey!
You see, when O.J. was hired to play the bumbling Norberg in Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad, it wasn't considered all that unusual as far as casting went. Granted, he wasn't known for comedy, with him of course being one of the all-time greatest football players. He had branched out into acting, but typically played serious roles.
It's for you.
And
Nordberg,
this is a
Police
code
Squad.
red.
In fact, a few years before he was in The Naked Gun, he came pretty close to playing the title role in The Terminator. This was likely the reason he was cast, as no one in the movie, other than Nielsen, was known for their comic chops. This was all part of the gag, where the klutzy Frank Drebin is dropped into an otherwise serious film only to inflict maximum comedic mayhem. Co-star O.J. Simpson, plus George Kennedy, Ricardo Montalban, and Priscilla Presley were all cast against type, just as Nielsen himself was when he first co-starred in Airplane.
Let's see. Vanna White and Weird Al Yankovic. Okay, enjoy the awards.
The movie was made by the filmmaking team Zucker Abrams Zucker, aka Zaz, who were the masters of slapstick comedy during this era, and it was a spin-off of their short-lived series Police Squad.
Cigarette?
Yes, I know.
Well.
When the movie came out, it was a blockbuster, and all the serious actors in the cast received critical kudos, with many singling out O.J.'s hilarious performance as the much-abused Norberg. As such, his role was expanded in the following films, as well as George Kennedy's Ed Hockett, and with Nielsen's Drebin, they became a comedic trio.
If I'm going out happy.
Wait a minute, Rocco.
The sequel was almost as big of a hit as the first movie, and a third film was quickly put into place. Now, some may say that the series would have still ended even if O.J. hadn't allegedly killed 2 people.
Congratulations, Dad, it's a boy.
Nordberg!
There is, of course, some evidence to that, with the Zaz team starting to go their own ways. Jerry Zucker had become a serious director, having a smash hit with Ghost, while Abrams had a hit of his own with Hot Shots Part 1 and 2, which teamed him with another of the movie's writers, Pat Proft. When it came time for a third movie, only Zucker, David Zucker that is, and Proft were really involved, with the directorial reins being passed to Peter Segal, who made his directorial debut and later on would go on to make Tommy Boy. Despite the subtitle, The Final Insult, there really is no evidence to know that this was meant to be the last movie in the series.
I look familiar.
No, Frank, the pin. She's a nurse.
Can I keep this one?
In it, the now retired Drebin, who's bored with his life as a house husband, agrees to go undercover in a prison in order to file a terrorist for hire, played by Fred Ward of Remo Williams and Tremors. The storyline was actually pinched from the classic Warner Brothers gangster film White Heat. His wife Jane, once again played by Priscilla Presley, leaves him for a cross-country trip with her friend, spoofing Thelma and Louise, only to get embroiled in his plot. Anna Nicole Smith, at the height of her fame, would play the femme fatale, and the movie climax at the Academy Awards, where Leslie Nielsen's long joked about resemblance to TV talk show host Phil Donahue eventually becomes part of the plot. While it's not as fondly remembered as the previous Naked Gun movies, there's a lot to like in this one.
I've been busy, if that's what you mean. Oh, do you have Dances with Wolves?
It opens with a dead-on spoof of the infamous train station shootout from The Untouchables, while the Academy Award climax probably isn't grasped by younger viewers, as the joke really is how B and C-list all the celebrities are, like Pia Zadora, Florence Henderson, and Mary Lou Retton. Some of the jokes, like Best Actor in a Columbus Film, really are nods to the state of the industry at the time, as the year before this came out, there were 2 rival Christopher Columbus movies that dueled at the box office and were both giant disasters.
Best Actor in a Columbus movie?
Funniest part of the movie, though, is when Nielsen goes undercover at a fertility clinic and has to provide a lot of sperm samples. Well, a smaller hit than the other films in the series, The Naked Gun 33 1/3 was a solid moneymaker, grossing $51 million in 1994 bucks. Given the fact that Nielsen spent years after this making more and more spoof movies, including Spy Hard and Wrongfully Accused and Mr. Magoo, in which he famously feuded with director Stanley Tong, who wanted him to do all of his own stunts, with Nielsen telling the press that, hey, I'm not Jackie Chan.
You should talk.
Well, listen to you.
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 One would have imagined that he would have gone on and done another Naked Gun movie, well, had OJ not allegedly killed those 2 people. Indeed, OJ's arrest put a damper on the film's home video release, which was delayed and notably didn't feature OJ's likeness on the box. And who could blame them, really?
Can't we all just get along?
Nevertheless, it was a solid hit in stores and on cable, but a 4th movie never happened. Back in 2009, Paramount was keen to reboot the series and was preparing a direct-to-video sequel which would have featured Nielsen cameoing as Frank Drebin. Indeed, Nielsen stayed active until very shortly before his death in 2011, playing the president in 2 Scary Movie sequels which were directed by David Zucker, as well as 2 more Naked Gun writers being involved, Jim Abrams and Pat Proft. He also showed up in a few other spoof movies such as Superhero Movie and Spanish Movie.
No, I don't think so.
He was also terrific in an Against-type dramatic role in The Music Within, which was a film about the passing of the Americans with Disabilities Act. As you see, Nielsen was born legally deaf and used hearing aids his entire life. When he passed away, his will demanded that the Naked Gun fanfare be played as he was being laid to rest. ESPN actually paid tribute to him by running an obituary for Enrico Palazzo, the cover name he took at the climax of the first Naked Gun movie.
Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo!
Notably, a new Naked Gun movie is due out this summer, but rather than hide from the terrible legacy that O.J. Simpson has left behind, the new movie seems to be embracing it. In the trailer, as Neeson, who plays Frank Drebin Jr., and Paul Walter Hauser as Ed Hawkins' son pay tearful tributes to their late fathers, the son of Norbert, looking at his father's portrait, just frowns at the camera in a moment that's already gone viral and seems to promise this is actually going to be a really funny movie.
Before we continue with our video, here's a reminder to click the Store tab on any of our JoBlo channels and browse our collection of the latest and freshest designs in our merch store. Go get you some.
While David Zucker has complained about the reboot happening, many have praised the trailer, which promises that Liam Neeson might be absolutely brilliant against typecasting, paying homage to how the original Airplane made Nielsen a comedic legend overnight. And truly, it's Nielsen's performance that has allowed these movies to stand the test of time, and if people can't get over the fact that OJ's in them, well, it's their loss.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.